Do you feel tired for no reason? Have joint pain that won't go away? Or have that strange swelling in your body? This could be chronic inflammation, and the good news is that there's a natural solution. In this video, we reveal the 7 most effective anti-inflammatory foods for people over 60, all proven by science. Discover how adjusting your diet can give you more energy, mental clarity, sexual well-being, and even help you live a healthier life. We include practical tips, eating routines, and combinations that really work. Comment below. I choose to live without inflammation. Share this video with someone in your family who deserves to age with vitality. Activate the bell and subscribe for more videos on health, nutrition, and longevity. Few people know this, but there is a silent process within the body that can be responsible for everything you attribute to age. Constant fatigue, joint pain, insomnia, memory problems, loss of libido, weight gain despite eating little, and even that swelling that appears out of nowhere. This process has a name: low-grade chronic inflammation. It is sneaky, persistent, and dangerous. And the good news is that it can be reversed, not with medicine, but with food. Maybe no one has told you this clearly, but there is a huge difference between getting older and rotting away from the inside. What many call the aging thing, like joint pain, constant fatigue, a foggy mind, difficulty losing weight, stubborn cholesterol, and blood pressure that suddenly rises, actually has a much more specific cause: chronic low-grade inflammation. An inflammation that doesn't hurt like an open wound, but that slowly corrodes everything vital inside you. And the main weapon to combat this process isn't in the pharmacy, it's on your plate. Today you will discover the 7 most powerful anti-inflammatory foods ever studied by modern science, especially effective for those over 60. These are foods that not only reduce the silent inflammation that causes aging, but also protect your brain, relieve your pain, improve your energy, and even your sex life. And best of all, they are affordable, practical, and real. No exotic superfoods or miracle diets. Let's talk about science applied to the table. First of all, a concept that needs to be clear. Not all inflammation is bad. When you twist your ankle or cut your finger, inflammation is the body's way of protecting itself and healing itself. But the problem lies in chronic inflammation, the kind that doesn't go away, that persists even without an obvious injury. It is fueled by stress, poor sleep, processed foods, hidden sugar, refined oils, processed meats. And it builds up in the tissues, like invisible embers that never go out. According to a study published in the scientific journal Nature Medicine, chronic inflammation is directly associated with the progression of diseases such as Alzheimer's, type 2 diabetes, cancer, osteoarthritis, cardiovascular disease, and even depression. Inflammation at this level is not a symptom, it is the root. But now comes the good part. You can put out those embers. And it all starts with the #1 food on our list: turmeric. You've probably heard of it as turmeric. It's a golden yellow root that's been used for millennia in Ayurvedic medicine, and modern science confirms that it's one of the most potent natural anti-inflammatories ever discovered. The secret lies in curcumin, its main active compound. Studies show that curcumin blocks inflammatory enzymes like COX-2 and NF-κB in the same way that medications like ibuprofen do, but without the side effects. Research published in the Journal of Alternative and Complementary Medicine demonstrated that elderly people with arthritis who consumed curcumin for just 8 weeks had a significant reduction in pain and stiffness compared to the group that took a placebo. But there is an essential secret. Curcumin alone is poorly absorbed by the body. Therefore, it needs to be combined with black pepper, which contains a substance called piperine, capable of increasing the absorption of curcumin by up to 2,000%. Want a practical use? Make a cup of turmeric tea with lemon and a pinch of black pepper first thing in the morning. Or add a level spoonful of turmeric to brown rice, soup, or scrambled eggs for breakfast. Now let's move on to the second anti-inflammatory food: extra virgin olive oil. Not just any olive oil. It has to be extra virgin, cold-pressed, with acidity below 0.5% and stored in a dark bottle. What makes this food so powerful is the compound called oleocanthal. which acts on exactly the same pain and inflammation receptors as painkillers. Extra virgin olive oil significantly reduces the risk of heart disease, cancer, and death from all causes. What's more, olive oil protects the brain against cognitive decline. A Temple Study University in the USA showed that mice fed extra virgin olive oil developed fewer beta amyloid plaques associated with Alzheimer's and demonstrated better performance in memory tests. How to use it? Never heat the olive oil. Use it raw, on top of salad, on already cooked roasted vegetables, or on whole wheat bread. And yes, just a tablespoon a day will start to have an effect. Our third food is a special group: dark red fruits. Strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, cherries, blueberries, also known as blueberries. These fruits are rich in anthocyanins, antioxidant compounds that combat oxidative stress, one of the main causes of chronic inflammation and cellular aging. Studies conducted by Harvard University have shown that frequent consumption of berries in women over 60 years of age reduced cognitive decline by up to 25%. This is equivalent in practice to rejuvenating the brain by 2.5 years. Additionally, these fruits help regulate glucose, protect the heart, and improve circulation, something that is fundamental for sexual health in maturity. And if you think they're expensive or hard to find fresh, here's the truth. The frozen version preserves 95% of the nutritional properties. Add 1-2 cup a day to your oatmeal, plain yogurt, or afternoon smoothie. But now we come to an underrated food, which many people avoid without knowing the good it does: raw garlic. Yes, garlic, and raw. It contains a substance called allicin, which is released when garlic is crushed or chopped. Allicin has antimicrobial, antifungal, antiviral, and anti-inflammatory properties. But most impressively, it helps modulate the body's immune response, protecting against silent chronic inflammation. A study conducted in South Korea showed that elderly people who consumed raw garlic daily had a lower incidence of respiratory diseases, better digestion, and a lower risk of hypertension. The secret is in the preparation method. Press or chop the garlic and let it sit for 10 minutes before eating. This activates the enzyme that transforms the sulfur compounds into allicin. You can mix it with olive oil and lemon, add it to salads, or even chew a small piece at the beginning of the day, if you can stand the taste. And yes, nature rewards those who face medicine with courage. Now, before we move on to the next foods, here's an important question. Have you shared this video with someone in your family who suffers from constant pain, intestinal problems, or unexplained fatigue? Because what we are revealing here could be the difference between aging with pain or with dignity. And sometimes, a click of your finger can save the health of someone you love. In the next few minutes, we will reveal 3 more anti-inflammatory foods that have a direct impact on your energy, your joints, and even your intimate life, with practical examples and guidelines on how to turn this into a real routine. Let's continue with the 5th anti-inflammatory food on our list, one that has been gaining attention in recent studies for its direct impact on brain function, the digestive system, and cell regeneration, and one that can easily be included in any routine: fresh ginger. Yes, the same ginger you may have used to treat a cold or occasional nausea has a profound anti-inflammatory effect, especially important after the age of 60. Its main active compound, gingerol, is able to inhibit the production of inflammatory cytokines such as TNF-A and interleukin-6, which are associated with chronic pain, joint stiffness, intestinal inflammation, and even depressive symptoms. In a study published in the Journal of Pain Research, patients with osteoarthritis of the knees who consumed ginger orally daily for 12 weeks reported significant reduction in pain, local inflammation, and improved mobility. But ginger goes further. It acts on digestion, stimulating gastric juice and accelerating stomach emptying, which improves reflux and heartburn, common problems after the age of 60. It also regulates blood sugar, combats oxidative stress, and helps peripheral circulation, including in the extremities, which directly influences sexual and vascular health. How to use it in a practical way. Grate a small piece, about 2 cm, into tea with lemon. Mix grated ginger with honey and cinnamon for a natural elixir. Add to soups, broths, and green juices. Make a nighttime infusion with ginger, mint, and fennel to combat bloating and improve sleep. And what's more, combine ginger with turmeric to enhance the anti-inflammatory effects. Together, these roots form a synergy that stimulates immunity, cleanses the liver, and combats silent inflammation in a continuous manner. Now let's move on to the sixth food, which acts in a less visible but profoundly effective way: real dark chocolate. Attention, we are talking about chocolate with at least 70% cocoa, without milk, with little or no sugar. What makes it an ally is the high concentration of flavonols, compounds that improve endothelial function. That is, they help blood vessels to dilate correctly, reducing blood pressure and facilitating the body's oxygenation. A study published in the British Journal of Nutrition followed elderly people who consumed 25 g of dark chocolate per day and demonstrated a reduction in markers of vascular inflammation, as well as improvements in short-term memory and physical energy levels. Cocoa is also rich in magnesium, essential for muscle and brain function. Additionally, dark chocolate stimulates the production of serotonin, combating symptoms of mild anxiety and insomnia, two factors that indirectly contribute to inflammation in the body. People who are inflamed sleep worse, and those who sleep poorly become more inflamed. It's a cycle, and dark chocolate can help break that cycle in a sweet and natural way. How to include 1 x 25 g square after lunch, melted into oatmeal with banana, combined with Brazil nuts for a powerful anti-inflammatory snack, melted with a little coconut oil and turmeric to create a functional spread. And finally, the seventh anti-inflammatory food that is saving lives after $60, cruciferous vegetables. You may never have heard this name, but you know its representatives well: broccoli, kale, cabbage, cauliflower, and arugula. These vegetables contain a compound called sulforaphane, considered by the scientific community to be one of the most promising anti-inflammatory agents in the prevention of chronic diseases. Sulforaphane activates genes that turn off inflammatory responses and stimulates cellular detoxification enzymes, something essential after 60, when the body can no longer regenerate at the same speed as it did in youth. Research from Johns Hopkins has shown that regular broccoli consumption for just 4 weeks increased antioxidant capacity in the blood of older adults and reduced systemic inflammation. What's more, cruciferous vegetables are rich in soluble fiber, the preferred food of good gut bacteria. And here's a powerful detail: 70% of your immunity is in your gut. If your gut is inflamed, your entire body suffers. And cruciferous vegetables help restore this biological barrier, rebuilding your strength from the inside out. How to consume? Steamed broccoli and cauliflower for up to 4 minutes to preserve phytonutrients. Raw arugula in a salad with olive oil, garlic, and lemon. Quickly sautéed kale with garlic and extra virgin olive oil. Kale juice with green apple and ginger on an empty stomach 2 to 3 times a week. If you eat just 3 servings of these vegetables a week, you'll start to reap the benefits. If you can increase that to 1 serving a day, even a small one, you'll be making a direct investment in your longevity. Now that you know the 7 most effective anti-inflammatory foods for people over 60, you might be wondering, but how can I turn all of this into a practical routine? So take note. Morning: turmeric tea with pepper and lemon. Oatmeal porridge with frozen berries and cinnamon. 1 tablespoon of olive oil on top of wholemeal bread, or morning shot with grated ginger lunch. Salad with arugula, chopped raw garlic, olive oil, and lemon. Steamed broccoli with turmeric and pepper. A light. Protein: eggs, sardines, lentils. Dessert: a square of dark chocolate with Brazil nuts. Dinner: pumpkin soup with ginger and kale. Roasted cauliflower with turmeric and garlic. Night infusion with ginger, fennel, and mint. If you put 3 of these foods on your plate every day, even in small quantities, you will be reducing your inflammation, improving your energy, your memory, your digestion, and your quality of life. And here is my invitation. Comment now. I choose to live without inflammation. Send this video to a friend or family member over 60 who needs this. Sign up to continue receiving content that transforms health into action. Remember, you don't have to accept pain as a part of aging. You need to know that there is a way. And it starts with what you choose to eat.